Hello and welcome back to another English lesson with me, Greg from Hola English with Greg. Now, one of my most popular videos that I've ever done was a video which you can watch up there. I will put a link to the end of the video too, about connected speech. Now, connected speech is techniques that native speakers use to help connect words together to make it easier for us to speak. The problem is that when native speakers use these techniques, it sometimes makes it a bit more difficult for foreigners to understand what we're saying. For this reason, it is super important that you learn how to use connected speech in English. Another reason is that if you use these techniques, your English is going to sound a lot more like a native speaker. All right? Your pronunciation is going to be so good. So if improving your pronunciation and sounding more fluent and more like a native speaker is what you want, then you are going to love this video. If you are new here and you want to take your level of spoken English to the next level, then please click subscribe and click the bell notification so that you get notified of all my new lessons. As I said before, I did a really popular video on the linking R sound. What we're going to be focusing on today is the linking Y sound. Okay, let me explain this like a good Englishman. I am English, so I always have a cup of tea in the morning. I always have a cup of tea in the morning. I always. Do you hear that? Do you hear an imaginary Y sound between the word I and the word always? We don't say I always. We don't do this because if we speak like this, we're going to sound like a robot when we separate every word. And that's not what we want. So instead of saying I always, we say I always. Yeah. That's the sound that we put between these two words. I always. It's not a strong Y. It's not like yes. It's not I always. No, it's a soft Y sound, very soft. I always. Your mouth probably automatically does this anyway when you go from the I sound to the O sound. I always. Okay, so now you need to know when we use this linking Y sound. And we basically do it when one word ends in one of these sounds. I, for example, buy. E, for example, tea. A, for example, today. And oi, for example, boy. Buy tea today, boy. So we use it when one word ends in one of these sounds and the next word begins with a vowel. Any vowel. It doesn't matter. Okay? So this is why we say I always. We also say I ate pizza last night. I own a camera. Using the second example with the E sound, we can say he. He always says that. He always has his English classes on Tuesdays. Using the A sound, we can say day after day after day. I generally publish YouTube videos on Monday and Thursdays. Monday and Thursdays. And using the oi sound, we have a boy and girl. Boy and girl. Boy and, not boy and, but boy and girl. There's a toy on the floor. There's a toy on the floor. Toy on, toy on. There's a toy on the floor. Okay, this can also help us when we're pronouncing the word the. There are two pronunciations for the word the. One is the, using the schwa sound at the end, the. For example, the pen, the table, the ceiling, the floor. But if the next word begins with a vowel sound, then the word the changes to the. And because the ends in the sound e, we have to use the linking y between the and the next word, if it begins with a vowel. For example, the animal, the animal, the elephant, the elephant, the igloo, the igloo, the igloo, the owl, the owl, the owl and the pussycat, the owl and the pussycat. Famous poem. And finally, the umbrella. Don't forget the umbrella. Don't forget the umbrella. Okay, connected speech really is a fantastic topic to get into and to study a bit if you want to really take your English pronunciation and fluency to the next level. As I said before, I did a previous video on the linking R sound and the intrusive R sound. So if you watch that video and combine it with this video on the linking y sound, you have 3 fantastic ways to take your fluency to a native level. Enjoy the next lesson. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching and bye for now.